we kind of take it for granted that within the communities that we tend to spend time in and the people we talk to, that most secularists or atheists are humanists to some degree or share humanist values. Talk recently about doing like an ongoing conversation on parenting beyond belief, or just generally parenting without religion.
I don't feel as protective of them as they were younger, and they know I'm an activist, they know everything that I do, but it's completely separate from them because they're kind of moving into creating their own lives at this point. So I'm pretty open with talking about them.
I think it's a sad state of affairs that we live in a country and a society this day and age that because you don't have a belief that most people have, you have to really fear your kids being targeted.
I've got close Muslim friends. I've got people from different, a lot of Catholic and things, family and friends. And my kids have grown up around that and knowing that people have different beliefs. So it's never been contentious at all. It's just something that they accept.
I expose my kids to all the activism I do. LGBT, atheism, anything. Because I think it's important for them to see their mom standing up for what she believes. And the way that I'm handling myself is a lot more composed. And I really want them to kind of see that, like how they can handle themselves. And that it's okay to question things and push back against things.
I basically have been criticized very, very harshly on my parenting, that I am a horrible parent and I'm going to raise this child and he's going to have basically no boundaries and he's just going to be in the streets and you name it.
Don't let that discourage you. I heard the same exact stuff when my kids were little, and don't let that discourage you. I ended up with two amazingly wonderful children. And I raised them the way I wanted to raise them. I didn't care what anybody else said.
You have to actively decide to kind of teach or lead or, expose people or your children to those ideas and, probably show them better than teach them that, these ideas are harmful to people and we don't want to harm people, especially if there's no good reason for it.
present to you International Freethinkers. You're listening to the We Are Sober podcast.
Oh boy, we are back.
Oh boy, indeed.
Oh boy, indeed. Did you like that little promo?
I think so.
Sweet promo, dog.
Yeah, I thought it was the whole show. Like that was the highlight reel, right?
That was the highlight reel, but it was the whole show. We talked for like what, an hour and 20 minutes, and that's all I came up with. Sorry, no, just kidding.
That was the only quality content.
Because we're true professionals, and this is what we do, and we're always on time. Hi. I was going to say overpaid. God.
Overpaid atheists.
Overpaid atheists. Welcome. Please. Welcome. I forget. I forget how that. No, that started on Neil's channel or here. I forget which one. You are overpaid. Thank you.
Yeah, just like us.
Yeah, just like us. Because that's how we We run things. So Justin, how are you tonight, this evening? Plans for Thanksgiving? I saw that you already have your Christmas tree up, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. I just came home from work and it was there.
That's fun.
How we roll.
That's how you roll. That's good. Well, this is exciting because at least within that promo, I paid a kind of added the voices of the people that were on the stream with us for the original Parenting Without Religion stream, which was fun. And so this, of course, inspired for us to do this whole entire series that hopefully will pretty much be very consistent as far as this, creating at least once a month. I think that would be decent because, as far as I have looked, there's not much content relating to all that. I mean, it touches there are a lot of, social issues that atheists speak about, many podcasts about religion, of course. I mean, we're not sure fall from that tree anyway either, but we tried to dabble in different things.
Yeah, I think that the topic has broadened, and that's something we can do. Is we're not restricted to certain things. Like the first one was introducing skepticism, but the topic is broadened, right? Just like a lot of creators have broadened their scope of their platform to include social issues and political issues and economic issues. So it's because it's not just religion, it's what people do with it, and what they do with it is typically social or political or has economic impacts. So it may not be about religion specifically, but a lot of the discussions and channels or the creators have moved on to the impact of religious thoughts and religious ideas and the religious impact on our country and our social norms over time that have kind of resulted into some of these other problems that we're seeing. Right.
And then there are exceptions. I mean, Eddie, a good friend of ours, is an exception. And I'm sure there are many others to where, they hold on to their belief, and that's fine because a lot of what was kind of touched was that you, Laura, Richard, and Bree, that's on the premiere show, touched on as far as, accepting those that do think differently and having their children learn to be able to accept others that do think differently and, analyze critically, not only themselves, if they, for themselves see that it is something that they want to attribute to, and that's fine. I think I admired all of you for having that openness, but it definitely speaks more to that person's character on how you treat others, and you guys carried that thing pretty much all the way through.
Yeah, we brought it up during the show that we kind of take it for granted that most of the people within our circles are skeptics and humanists and stuff, but not all atheists are skeptics, and not all atheists and skeptics are humanists. So oh man, overpaid atheists is getting around on the Twitch and the tubes.
Wow.
So it's easy to see why it kind of branches out, right? Because it's not these religions. I mean, these issues and problems that we're addressing is not only a religious phenomena. It's just basically any system of dogmatic beliefs or any scenario where you're not required to, so you never critique and kind of evaluate your thoughts and opinions on things. And a lot of that is, like I said, you come from a lot of people come from a position of privilege, so they're never put in a position where they have to.
That's true. Our good friend Multi has joined us for a short spell. Good evening, sir. Hello. So I think in response to that,
Multi, your famous background picture is out of frame.
Oh, that's unacceptable. There you go. Draw that curtain.
Yeah,
no one has to see inside.
Where's Bill Nye? Bill Nye, the picture guy.
Oh,
I think it's I've zoomed in a little bit.
Yeah.
everyone's looking pretty fresh, sounding good.
I zoomed
like
in
this.
because I have a bunch of clutter right off shot.
Behind your black wall.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, there we go.
There
That's
he
what I'm
is.
used to.
That's that picture guy. We love. Multi, I have an interesting question for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the answer to this, but just for all purpose intents, for clarity for the audience, are you yourself a parent?
I am not.
Okay. And with your experience as far as being raised by your parents, and I'm not absolutely certain about their background as far as being of a particular faith or what are not, but how would you summarize how your parents raised you up to more or less be the person that you are? And how much of that did you draw from that teaching? How much did you let go? And would you say, if you had children of your own, would you carry that same idea?
I would call the way my parents raised us as benign neglect. My mother went back to work full time when I was about 11 or 12. And so I was a latchkey kid after that. A lot of time unsupervised. They were very busy working full time, and they were tired. So both school teachers. So I had a lot of reference material. I had a lot of things that I could go to as far as learning about the natural world, but there was not a lot of. But their ability to deal with a kid asking questions was all used up by the time they got home.
So when we so the topic of the show that we recorded was introducing skepticism, and so benign neglect, I see that as not bad parent. They're just busy, and like you said, no energy to teach these things and impart these values. But you had reference materials, you had books, you could look up stuff, you can read. I'm sure there's a lot of science
watch
books.
PBS, but
Right.
if I wanted to,
do you think it's possible in that environment to be adequately exposed to skepticism, to something like the proper use of the even like a childish version of the scientific method of things has to be borne out by observation and testing before believing them, and kind of not buying into so much dogma, because even as a child, or I mean especially as a child I should say, you kind of just believe everything at face value, and it takes conversations. Like I try to talk to my daughter a lot about, this is why we believe this is what this thing is, right? This is why it's like that. But if you're just reading books or TV shows, you might not necessarily get that explanation, or this is why I believe it, and I'm not telling you to believe it. But so I just wonder if you can get to that point without just by having like reference materials or resources.
Yeah, I don't think so. At least in my situation, I do think that there was a lot of things that I would learn from encyclopedia, from, like I say, from PBS about the natural world, not necessarily how to come about correct or well thought out ideas, but I was provided these answers as probably without much more backing than someone that had a religious indoctrination. at the beginning.
You just happen to be exposed to what is the right set of ideas, or a better.
But yeah, I mean,
set of
it
ideas.
was we started when I was young. If I would let's go look it up, and we had a full. This was I don't want to age myself, this was pre-Google, so we were using the Encyclopedia Britannica, and we would look things up, and then pretty soon it became I would ask a question, and it's like how to use the encyclopedia, go look it up.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody still has like a full set of encyclopedias in their house anymore.
No, they don't. I used to. I don't. Giggler, hi.
Yes. Hello.
You very quickly, and then we'll kind of wrap up in the next few minutes, since we're gonna go pop in the live stream for the premiere show. You have an interesting family set up presently.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have 3 young boys.
Yeah.
You yourself are an atheist, but you have a wife that is a believer.
Not just an atheist, but I'm a lifelong non-believer, which
thank you. Yes.
You don't get any cookies.
Well, from my experience, that tends to be a rarity, not among atheists, but among outspoken atheists. Because for most lifelong non-believers, there's no reason to be an angry atheist, because nobody ever told you stuff was real. You really don't give a shit about religion. You look at it like people look at astrology. It's the people who were brought up in a religion, who realize it was false, who are kind of pissed off about it, want to be outspoken. It's interesting. I have a couple of friends who are also lifelong non-believers, and getting them to talk about religion is so difficult because they just don't give a shit. For me, because, as you were going to say, Jenna, my wife's a devout Christian, lifelong believer. We're raising 3 kids together. All of a sudden, it's really important to me again to deal with that stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, naturally it would be, because once they get at a certain age, I mean, they're quite young now. I mean, less than 10, right? All 3?
5, 7, and 9. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
The 7-year-old just got
very
baptized.
accurately.
Fully submerged baptized, and
that's fun.
He asked to get baptized.
I mean, to be dunked in water.
How do you feel about that? Are you excited?
You know what?
Are you thrilled? Are you proud dad?
I feel like the same way I'd feel if he made any other choice that wouldn't have been my choice, but was his choice. The uncomfortable part is he being indoctrinated? I'm lucky in my particular situation. I don't think he is being. I mean, kind of he is, but there's an argument to be made that he's not.
Yes, but there's symbolism to that, right? Obviously, because I've been christened with oil and baptized twice. Yeah. There's symbolism to all of that methodology. And so when those practices, whether or not your son fully understood them at the time or not, and he probably doesn't, because same with me, I didn't. It's just fun to be just dunked your head in water, or just lay in a bathtub and be dunked and submerged in the tub in front of hundreds of other people.
So you're cool. Saved forever, right? No matter how awful you are.
Am I covered by him? That would be. Oh wait,
you are
not
covered.
Me.
No, it's the other way. It's
I'm still screwed. Still going to hell.
Savior of the Father, or something like that.
So I have this fun story I've been telling on Discord lately, and this is a thing that actually happened in our house not too long ago. I was in the kitchen with our oldest son, who's 9, and he said, "Where's mommy?" And me, being the snarky bastard that I am, I said, "I don't know, maybe she got raptured." And my 9-year-old son, who's been going to an evangelical Christian church his whole life, said, "What's raptured?" And it kind of blew my mind. I'm like, wait, what? And I said,
rapture is when traffic gets lighter.
I said,
tolerable.
Son, where do people go after they die? And he said, heaven. I said, okay, where else could they go? And he goes, no, that's it, just heaven. So my 9-year-old son, who's been going to this Christian church for 9 years, doesn't know what the rapture is, doesn't know what hell is. And so I had to ask my wife about this. And I said, honey, how can this be a thing? He's going to this church where you guys teach this dogma. How does he know what this is? And she goes, well, I try to protect him from these things.
So that's an interesting thing. And I remember when you told us the story.
Yeah.
I think, and I won't blanket this from all Christians, because, there are Christian families or parents that really, hit hard on instilling hell and the fear of hell in you. But I will say that one thing I do respect about secular parents is they're not afraid I mean, everyone has their choice as how much they reveal or to speak about to their kid at what age or whatever. Everyone varies, but they're not afraid to, or they should not be afraid to be able to be as open as they are and open to their kids' questions and open to just, relaying as much truth as they have had and instill those changes within them so they can, and show them how to critically think and show them all aspects, and faith or non-faith, that's out there, and allow them to make their independent choices. So.
As a devout Christian, it's surprising how much my wife tolerates my kids overhearing me talk to people on Discord. And that's not to say it doesn't piss her off. It does piss her off, but not to the extent you would think it would, I think.
I bet it does. Well, that is it. We need to wrap up now because it's going to start soon.
The truth does not fear your silly questions and arguments. That's why she's not upset.
That's the idea, right? If God's real and the kids know God's real, who am I to point out he's not? And that should, kudos to her for that to some extent.
Kudos indeed. Well, thank you, Multi Giggler, for popping in. I hope you guys, by all means, everyone, I made new mistakes several
Multi
times
and I
today.
didn't have time to fight. We are going to have one of these where Multi and I can fight, right? Okay, sorry.
I will mute you.
Next week.
It is fine.
Next week.
Yeah,
not next week. Next week is Thanksgiving.
And the episode of We Are the Angriest. And then you and Multi can fight each other.
Please check the link, check the description down below, people, for the actual link to the premiere. I made several new mistakes earlier today. This one works, trust me. But thank you, Multi Giggler, for joining me, and I hope you all enjoyed the show. We will see you all in the live chat. Until then, see you next time. Wrong one. Sorry. Another new mistake. Okay, bye-bye.